Hello, everyone. I am Lucas DeRuyter, judge for this year's Crunchyroll Anime Awards, and I'm joined by other judges to talk about the Crunchyroll Anime Awards, what got nominated, what's likely to win, what resonated with us. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing for the next hour and a half or so. On this podcast today, we have everyone's otaku, the otaku of everywhere. I don't know how we're changing that branding. Maybe we'll figure it out. Isaiah Colbert.
Hello, yes. I came across the ingenious way of saying otaku without borders given my freelance status. So that's been the official rebrand. So you'll see me on different places here and there, depending on whenever inspiration hits me and rent is due, I guess.
Hey, doctors aren't just borderless. Otaku are too. Also on the podcast, editor-in-chief, editor extraordinaire, I forget your exact job title, but Lynzee Loveridge of Anime News Network.
Hi, everybody. It's executive editor, but it mostly means the same thing. So I looked that up after the fact. I'm like, oh, what did I get myself into?
Also on the pod today, we have But Why Those Own Kate Sánchez.
It's Sanchez.
I forget the mark over the A. I put a little more chutzpah on that.
If you want.
Kate Sánchez.
Yes. Hi. Okay. Sorry. I promised myself when I left academia I was going to correct every time somebody said my name wrong, and that just so happens to happen during podcasts sometimes. But yeah, hi. I'm excited to be here.
Kate, for any reason at any point, you're welcome to call me out. You're welcome to give me shit over the course of recording this. Like, that's the only way I learn. And then rounding out the pod, according to my grandmother, who calls him that nice man from Norway, is Rafael Motamayor.
Excited to be here, and I will try to live up to that description.
Don't disappoint Lucas's grandma. That's all of our that's our main goal today for all of us.
She's turning 80 this month. We got to step it up. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh, that is so sweet.
Yeah. All right. Now, as judges, there are a couple of requirements that we have to live up to in discussing all of this. We're not allowed to get into the voting process, rules, or what are ballots included or discluded. Yeah, they're pretty straightforward, pretty opening paragraph of that judge's packet. This conversation will also focus specifically on the nominees. So what is in there, our predictions for who will take the top spot. Did I say that we can't say who we voted for? I'm saying it again because at the very least that's written down twice in the packet that we got. So yeah, just going to be takeaways, just going to be what resonated with us. If you want our full takes, if you want the spicy thoughts, I don't know, we're all writers. You can pay us for that stuff.
Also, I'm good for Crunchyroll. I don't even remember who I voted for because I have a short-term memory.
Time has eroded who I voted for. I
do you know how much we watch? I'm not gonna remember that.
I was
I have the website pulled up on a second window here, so as we go through, I can see what the nominees were.
You're so smart, Lynzee. Living in 2024, using our technology.
Speaking of that website, of those nominations, we're starting out with Anime of the Year, which is nominees include Oshi no Ko, Bocchi the Rock, Chainsaw Man, the most recent season of Demon Slayer, most recent season of Jujutsu Kaisen, and Vinland Saga Season 2. Raph and Isaiah, y'all both wrote pretty extensively about Vinland Saga Season 2.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
So my thoughts on this is that I like Vinland Saga Season 2's weird spout of online discourse where people oh, it fell off, it's not as good as Season 1 because it wasn't action oriented, because it kind of weeded out the people who are actually here for Vinland Saga, because the show doesn't really start until Season 2. And so I don't know, I like Season 2 a lot because for me, before I'd even gotten into Vinland Saga, I had done the rounds of reading through Vagabond and being man, this is one of the greatest sort of character arcs ever. And it's usually whenever battle hardened warrior gets put on a farm. They just have a farming arc. And when it happened in Vinland Saga, I was like, oh, they're doing it early because it happens way later in Vagabond. So I'm like, oh, this might be peak. We might be at peak because they're doing a farming arc really early. And it just felt like really good, and like how it like was a slow burn that serviced characters and just fleshed out a little bit more of the world building, where it's just like, yeah, no, this is slavery. You're going through slavery and you're just like kind of suffering, but you're also like feeling like you deserve it because you were kind of an angsty POS back in the day being a Viking and all. So everything kind of culminated in a way that just like didn't feel rushed to get to the point. It always kind of belabored like the feeling of anxiety over all that and guilt over that. So I enjoyed just the entire journey of the arc, and I like how Mappa gave it time to breathe, because usually when we think of Mappa projects, it's always like things are go 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 action action action, but with this one they're like no, this has to be a slower kind of season. So I enjoyed that a lot for it.
Understandable. Anything to add, Raph?
I mean, just echo what I already said. Like, this is, I think it's an incredible piece of television, not just anime, but television as a whole. I am glad I sort of missed the online discourse around it, because I did not get the comments of like the lack of violence and stuff. So I am happy I went in just knowing that this is, I knew it was a pretty big arc, but I didn't know what that meant, and I was just extremely happy to see that it was such a well-crafted story. And living in Scandinavia, I have seen my fair share of like Viking stories, but there are few, if any, that come to like this level of just character writing, and it was just like incredible to see week to week.
Yeah, it was. Kate, you are the biggest JJK appreciator in my orbit, at least. Any opinions on this most recent season or anything else in the nominees?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I really want to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man, which feels real basic when we break it down. I know. In a perfect world, Buddy Daddies would be on here, but it's not.
Where is my buddy? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 and Chainsaw Man for me fulfill they do what I love about new mediums of the same story, is they tell the heart of it, but they make enough changes and they focus in on specific emotional moments and specific character beats that add more to the overall story. I'm somebody who believes you can tell the same story in multiple mediums. Adaptations are not inherently bad. And I think a lot of the times when there are differences from the manga to an anime, I think Chainsaw Man dealt with that a lot this year. Or I guess technically last year. I don't know. Whenever the hell winter season that came out that spanned things, you're in a situation where you have purists and you have people who are coming to the story for the same time. And I think what Mappa was able to do with Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 to a little bit of a lesser extent was kind of justify the existence of telling it in a different medium by adding more to it. If you read it, you get one thing. If you watch it, you get another thing. And as somebody who appreciates both those stories on their own, and maybe this is just biased because I love Aki like with all my heart, and so does Mappa apparently, it just adds so much more to it. And I think for Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 very specifically, there are two. I know that some folks may have not have liked it, perhaps some folks on this podcast right now, but for me, I really appreciated the time investment in Core 1 into building out more of the relationship elements between Geto and Gojo specifically. And then because I'm a huge action fan in general, I appreciated the adaptation of a lot of the fight scenes working in some iconic live action film moments. You have the Raid, you have the Matrix, you have like really large, just kind of tent poles of action cinema brought to life in that fast-paced Mappa action storytelling, and that's what I appreciate mostly. And also, if you've read JJK, like, I don't tell people to go read it because it's highly convoluted, because Gegi doesn't know how not to explain everything to everyone. I think Mappa does a good job. So yeah, I will be a Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 defender. But ultimately that's my takeaway and why I think they kind of stand out for me. Also a justification to make me not sound super basic and saying that I really love these two things that everybody else also really loves.
Wait, can I ask just to clarify, is the season 2 is just the first half that's nominated, right? Or is it the whole thing?
It's
That
the whole
wasn't
thing.
really clarified.
It has to
Because
be the whole thing,
that
right?
makes a big difference.
It
It's like
does make a
about
big
core one.
difference depending on whether it's just the Geto Suguru flashback arc, or if it's Geto Gojo flashback arc, or if it's that and all the Shibuya incident arc
I would
combined.
assume that the whole thing is, because usually the Anime Awards is specific on season debut, and that because it ran concurrently, both cores are inside the window, so I would assume
Yeah,
it would have to be the full
Because
thing.
it's like
I'm
fall to
operating under
fall.
that assumption, but I guess we'll find out for sure next Anime Awards and whether it's nominated again, right?
This is true.
The image for Jujutsu Kaisen does appear to be from the second half of the most recent season on the Anime Awards page. If that's any indication.
Yeah.
Lynzee, you got any hot takes about anything
wait,
in
are
here?
you sure about that? Because it's core 1 on the Crunchyroll website.
Oh, is that?
That's core 1. That's Gojo's past arc, or I guess they called it hidden inventory.
I'm looking at the Anime Awards website, and the key art that they have for Anime of the Year for Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 is Shibuya Incident.
Oh, well then there we go. It's all 2 because the key art that they made for Anime of the Year with all 6, it has the core 1 photo.
Huh.
It's in their announcement one. Look, this is called journalism. Getting to the bottom of it right on this podcast. I sent the link in chat.
Okay.
Well, I perused that link. Lynzee,
yeah,
feelings about anything in here?
So looking at Anime of the Year, right? So we've got 6 nominees. 3 of them are by MAPPA. One of them's the latest Demon Slayer arc. Then we've got Dark Horse, Bocchi the Rock, and Oshinoko, right? Don't remember what I voted for in the moment, although I could probably guess. That said, of what's up here, like some of it I'm kind of over it. I'm a little bit over. Okay, here we go. I'm a little bit over like some of how the Anime Awards continue to shake out. I understand that it is populist at the end of it, and that makes sense. But we'll see as we go through this discussion that the distribution of awards among the number of series we get each year is there's some problems. Like if anyone at CR wants to hit me up to do some like workflow sort of management for this thing, let me know. I'd be down for that. But as far as like the actual Anime of the Year, it's a tough shakeout for me between Chainsaw Man and Vinland Saga Season 2. I think Chainsaw Man, to kind of echo what Kate was saying, is a perfect adaptation. There was definitely some discourse about the look of the show, the cinematic leanings of the show. Those people don't have taste and you shouldn't listen to them.
Here, Lynzee. Here.
This is a perfect adaptation. Nothing in that, like, there are so many moments from that season that hit me in the gut, and I had read the manga, so like I knew everything that was coming, but like Hime's death, spoiler alert, where they do the amazing shot of her basically having body parts disappear, but you don't see it. There's just a weight to her body. And you're like, oh, her legs are gone. Things like that are happening. Like that just, I think about that scene still. And this series aired last fall, like fall 2022 last fall. So, I mean, I'm still thinking about Chainsaw Man. I'm the naysayer for JJK season 2. I think a lot of my issues with that season has more to do with MAPPA production issues affecting the quality of the show as it came out. Yeah. And I think they could have edited Gege's Akutami's explanation stuff even even more because that's the kind of stuff that keeps me out of shonen a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for the same reason. I'm just like, just shut up. Just shut up and let the things hit each other. I get it. Like I'm watching what's happening on screen, right? So that and the production issues on JJK and the work issues going on at MAPPA make it really hard to like endorse that production as a whole package, regardless of its artistic merit. Like just the circumstances in which it was produced make it difficult. I didn't watch the latest arc of Demon Slayer, but everyone I trust say it was really boring. So I don't know why it's
It was
here.
mid. It was truly mid. You have the Ruby Red episode, which is some of the best animation UF Table has done.
Yeah.
And then it's a whole lot of nothing after that.
This is completely anecdotal, but I have a teenage family member, right? 14. And I'm kind of their anime auntie sort of situation. And they were telling me about their friend and mentioned to me, they're like, so my friend really likes Demon Slayer, but I mean, the animation's great, but I think the story's kind of mid. And I was like, the kids know. All right, the kids know.
They're tapped in.
They're coming around.
That was my thing too. I was like, whatever, like when Demon Slayer first came out, I only heard people like hyping up, being like, "Oh, but this episode, like episode 16, is like good." I'm like, but I have to get there. And like, oh, these 4 seconds of animation were really cool. I guess
a little off topic, but I had a similar conversation with someone about Hunter x Hunter, and they're like, Hunter x Hunter's amazing, but you got to get to like episode 20. So I'm like, I don't 20.
It's hard.
It's 2 whole seasons to like power through, man. I got stuff to do. Anyway, but Vinland Saga, echoing a lot of what Isaiah and Rafael said earlier. Amazing drama there, just beautiful message in general, a character arc we rarely see, and I feel like my appreciation for that show heightened after we had a journalist interview Makoto Yukimura, and he was just like, if my government tells me that I have to go to war, I'm going to jail. Like he is just like so about it. It's not just a story to him. I feel like he is really committed to the themes and messaging in it, which is just great to see as well. So it's a toss-up between Vinland Saga and Chainsaw Man. Oshinoko, powerhouse opening ending themes, had a great 90-minute opener. I guess some people have also been divisive about the necessity of that, but just great show, but it doesn't have, it kind of just plateaus at one point. And so I feel like that hurts it a bit compared to something that felt like it had a natural sort of conclusion of an arc at the end. I don't think Oshinoko had that. I'm going to watch season 2, but just as a contained package,
No, I do agree, Lynzee. I think for me, like that's one of the things that like when I look at this or when I look at all the awards, like you said, like there's a disparity and there's a shonen bias when it like comes down to it, which is something that like if you've been around in anime space or even mangas, like this goes back to just what people read from the manga about what gets kind of airtime, what gets seen, what gets talked about. It is really hard. Because like I do genuinely think Buddy Daddies was the best anime of last year. Like it had
clear narrative arc, great animation, really hot guys.
Oh my god, amazing score.
Amazing score, great like
tension, like
but overcoming family trauma, escaping a cycle of violence and abuse. Come on, guys.
But
the importance of blood not being your family.
But what of the power scaling in Buddy Daddies? Are there grades in Buddy Daddy?
There are not.
But no, I do think, Lynzee, you're spot on, and I think it kind of makes me sad that we only really do get Bocchi the Rock is kind of the one, because even though Oshinoko still is very specific in its audience at the same time, I think Bocchi the Rock is the only thing that is really different.
This maybe this is a little bit of a hot take, and I don't even know if I fully agree with this because I will stump for Pop Team Epic any day of the week. Bocchi the Rock, maybe the best anime from a 4-comma manga.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
We're gonna get like some oldies coming in from like Nichijou who are gonna fight you, but
Yeah.
I actually didn't know Bocchi the Rock was a 4 That's
right.
How did that work in a 4 format? That's funny. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Lynzee's like, actually, Bocchi the Rock is the best adaptation.
We'll get there. But first we have to get through Best Continuing Series, which includes Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, Spy X Family, Demon Slayer, One Piece, and Vinland Saga. I got a feeling that One Piece is gonna clean this one up with how much of a surge I feel like that series is having globally. But what do y'all think?
This is another one where where's the cutoff for where One Piece was at? Are you just supposed to? Because I mean, the Wano arc just kind of wrapped, right? So is it like including?
I like how everything else has a clarifying statement, and then it's just One Piece.
Yeah, it's just One Piece.
I mean, do we expect people to remember what part of the 4-year arc is gonna be? They're gonna be voting for.
Yeah, no, I
think
don't.
I think that one is
No.
probably just gonna be like if you vote for that, you're voting for the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of unfair, but
yeah, because like to that merit, it'd be like, well, Attack on Titan's over, so is it continuing?
But this is only for
it's only the
one.
first part.
Yeah, it's only a special one. Now, Mappa is doing too much, as I think everybody in here can agree, and I think these categories show that. I also just like, this is a hot take. Spy Family, like Core 2, and like this is even talking about season 2, because like season 2 I think was like very mid. I think Core 2 of season 1 was good, but like I don't know, everything here for me outside of JJK and Vinland Saga, it just kind of like sputtered a little bit, just very sputtery.
Yeah.
I can't speak for One Piece because I'm only on episode 105. I'm trying. I'm trying really hard.
You're 1/10 of the way done.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Hey, they're making a
year, but
they're making a whole new One Piece anime
Yeah,
to expedite that process.
you can start over there.
Yeah, I watched the first season of Spy X Family. I'm up to date on the manga though, and I understand why that is a lot of people's cozy anime period now. I do think it gets to a point in the story where, all right, here are all the pieces, and they're gonna kind of stay in the same position. They're gonna do stuff, but if you expect these relationships to change, if you expect stakes to go up or down, yeah, that's not why you should be coming to Spy X Family. You should be coming here to see this adorable found family do adorable stuff together. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got bored.
Yep.
All the
Yeah.
reasons that you just listed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I finished out season 1. I probably still have like 2 episodes to go on season 2, and everyone was like, it's gonna get better because Yor's gonna have her moment, and I'm just like, okay, so she's on a cruise ship. All right.
I watched that season like I watched like a live action sitcom. Like I don't I watch it just to like hang out when I don't have anything else to watch, but like I don't expect much from it. I don't think he's gonna do much. And that's exactly what it did.
Someone make the Spy Family to Friends comparison article, please.
Yeah.
Who is Ross in Spy Family? Who is...
Yeah. Like
Why is it Yor's
Jackson.
brother? So
Yeah, I was like, it's Yuri.
My friend Gita Jackson on Twitter was like, so has Yor and Lloyd ever kissed each other? Like, One Piece might end before that.
It
happens.
hurts.
Yeah.
It
There's a
hurts. That's why you
non-zero
tapped
chance.
out. I'm so invested and they're perfect and I'm never gonna get it. And I'm just like, you all aren't supposed to be a shoujo. Like, but at least I'm not gonna get that in volume 20.
I would take
This,
this to
I
the
don't
next
know.
level. Like, they're drinking wine, they're both really hot, and they're cohabitating. Like, why are you
Come
not
on.
fucking? Please.
Come on.
Like,
Come
shut
on.
whatever. Yeah.
Listen, anyone looking for that, AO3 has you covered in spades.
I'm
Get in
sure.
there.
This is where doujin artists come in.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
The cornerstone of the anime community.
I don't know, I feel like we should talk more about Attack on Titan, but that's weird and kind of impossible to talk about the first half of the final chapters of Attack on Titan with the second part coming out. So
Attack on Titan final season, the final chapter, special one. No,
God, I
like
had such a hard time explaining that when I was working at Kotaku. I'm like, you see, it's like technically part 3 or 4, but it's not. But it was like I had to like do a whole literal paragraph to be like, here is what it literally is. Here's what they're saying.
AKA the mappa production schedule strikes again. Like,
Yep.
yeah. I'm trying to. It's also hard for me mentally to separate the two, and that's something I'm wondering may have affect voters for this one as well. Like, we already brought up One Piece, but how many people voted for Spy Family and were specifically like, yes, because specifically core 2 of season 1, and we're not at all thinking about the most recent season? You can't expect them to do that. So, yeah.
I personally don't think Swordsmith Village belongs up here.
No,
it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I like kind of tapped out after like being like maybe 4 or 5 episodes. And like, I'll just read it, I guess, or just have someone who knows it tell me. It would
at least
happens.
be faster, right?
Yeah,
I'm not the origin of this opinion, but this one should have been a movie. Yeah, like that.
Well, good thing they mostly make all these into movies anyway.
Yeah.
Or if they make it into a movie, they then recut it into episodes and then air it before the new season, which is what they did with Mugen Train anyway. So you can't escape it.
It's hard. I think that Demon Slayer is the perfect example of the limitation of working within story arcs from manga. And I think that like it is a great way to map things out. I don't think it always works to actually piece out your seasons well. I think the fact that UFO Table has leaned hard into like each season is one core, and they will have weird numbers of episodes, and then there will be some movies, and then we'll repackage them as events. It's just kind of like they're milking it dry in a way that I think instead of happening like Attack on Titan at the very, very end, it's happening like in real time as it's coming out, and it makes it kind of hard to buy in.
Yeah. They just had the New York red carpet premiere for the Shira training arc. Sent somebody there. They came back. They're like, yep, they showed the last episode of Swordsmith and then the first episode of Hashira, and they talked a lot.
Yep.
And that's
They did the same thing for this season. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's just,
which I do think there is a space to do like novelty specialty events, because I do think some anime has animation that warrants it, but I think that some of the marketing is very disingenuous as to what you're going to get when you go into it, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I think I may be the only one here who has seen One Piece. If I can just quickly, because I just shared.
I say it's like, excuse me, sir. How dare you assume?
Too much time trying to figure out where the cutoff point is, and I think it is right when Gear 5 happens. So I think that will, like, if it gets votes, it's because of that. And I do think that
Gear 5 is white-haired Luffy?
Yes.
I know a thing.
I do think like the way that show improved like in the last year and a half has been really interesting to watch. So I think like if any vote that show gets in that category, it's going to be because of that. And I think like it's not without merit. I don't know like that's enough to like to put it against the other shows. But then again, like everything else in this category is like a weird, like half a season of a thing. So I don't know in terms of like what can win, but I think like there's merit to having One Piece in there.
Do you guys think there's burnout on Attack on Titan? I mean, it's dominated in previous CR awards, and I'm wondering if people are finally like, I'm over it.
I hope there was. I hope there is.
I mean, we're gonna get special too.
But then if there is this year, what about next year?
Yeah. Well, like, is this gonna work like the Oscars, where special 1 is just like ignored, and then next year everyone gives it to special 2 because it's finally, you can vote on the end of the decade-long trauma we've all been living.
I could see that. Or it's
that's
now because people voted
that
thinking of special 2.
Yeah.
That's assuming they remember this is only part 1 and that they can vote for part 2 next year.
Yeah.
Which I don't think
That's
that
giving
many
an
people
anime
realize
fans a
it.
lot of credit. I don't think they did.
I mean, general consensus on, the Attack on Titan finale, both, well, from the manga at least, was that it, a weaker ending, to be generous. Isaiah, I think you actually wrote about how the anime
Yeah,
changed it up a little bit, but
I was real brave that day because like there
Must
was a
have
lot of
been.
times where I was like, I don't think I'm like have the mental faculty to handle talking about Attack on Titan in a critical way and like dealing with
Mhm.
whatever like blowback that will be for it. But like I'll at least say like because I remember when Attack on Titan first came out, like a lot of the way that like behind the like book like quotes would be like it's the Game of Thrones of anime. I'm like, well, it definitely was the Game of Thrones of anime. I'll say that much. But like, yeah, the anime definitely does like clarify a few things because like the manga makes it almost as if characters are just like, you know what, you're a really cool guy, and it's like, but wait a minute, like, the show definitely like it like I guess half steps into like being like, well, we're not gonna like completely like just like kind of like there's a word for it that I thought about when I was thinking about Final Fantasy, but there was like in a way where like they don't really like goad him in a way that they do in the like manga where they're just like, you know what, I kind of get it, you loosed yourself for us, and that was kind of cool. I'm like, no, not really, because at
No,
least
not-
Lelouch was self-aware that there was a point where he fucked up and he had to keep up the bit. I don't think Aaron Aaron just
No.
kind of gave
No.
up on destiny.
Aaron is
No.
irredeemable. Anyone who
Aaron
like
goes
still
under the jail. Like he's not in jail. He is under the jail. Like, no.
anyone I feel like who's still is like, well, if you look at it, Aaron had a point. I'm like, questionable human, do not engage. Like, as far as like what I came away from it with, is engaged in imagery that it did not have the knowledge to include first and foremost, which caused a lot of issues for just looking in on the series. But I feel like Aaron's clearly irredeemable genocidal baby, and kind of brave to like take your shonen protagonist that was the typical gung-ho, like, yeah, we're gonna I'm gonna fight and fight until we win and I'll never give up, and that just made him do a genocide. And it's like, oh, okay, that was, yeah, Aaron sucks. Aaron is unequivocally bad, like irredeemable trash.
The funniest part about all that too was just like, because both options were dumb, because I remember like hearing like Aaron's like brother Zeke be like, you know what my plan is like euthanizing all of us. Like, that's a really dumb plan. My plan is to kill everyone. Like, what are these plans? Can't you just wish to not be the Titan game?
You start engaging in the magic of Attack on Titan, you're like, there were other choices here. We've got a podcast. We did like the last 3 seasons talking about it, and I think this was something that came up during the last season where we were like, Aaron never stopped and considered any kind of diplomatic magical option because he didn't want to, because he was mad that he got to the other side of the ocean and it still sucked socially. So or anyway,
he's like, but we have so many hammers to like to crush things instead of using a nail.
Right.
I do love that Aaron might slowly becoming Gen Z's Griffith. That's fun. That's nice. It's nice that character can be a flag like that.
That's an interesting. I like that.
You just made me think of it with like the
it didn't occur to me. I'm like, yeah, he is.
All right, then we are heading into this one should be a little interesting. Best new series: Oshinoko, Bocchi the Rock, Chainsaw Man, Heavenly Delusion, Hell's Paradise, and Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. Maybe a question. No, that does get into like what we voted for a little bit. I
will be honest. My love of 2 of these comes strictly from my deep love of their manga. And it is very hard. So like Zom 100, I love the premise. I love everything. It hits on such a very deep level, like Akira's entire existence. speaks to so many people who are burnt out increasingly. The release schedule of that show messed it up so deeply. And I don't and I think because of those production issues and because of that, it falls off at the end, and it makes it hard for me to like even have it on this list, despite one of the best like first episodes I think of the year. And then Hell's Paradise, I've rewatched it. I tweeted out when I when volume 13 came out and it was done, and I read it, and I was like, I want Mappa to adapt this because they're the only people who can capture like the beauty and the horror at the same time really well. Now that I've rewatched it, I do think a lot of my love for it comes from everything that I know from the manga, which I don't think gets across entirely in this first season of the show, which is more so an issue with limiting it to the 12 episodes. And I assume it's core, like this is core 1 and there will be core 2, but it disrupts kind of the flow that it is supposed to go to after this point, because all the weight comes in the back half of like the actual Hell's Paradise story, which makes it hard because I think that they are two things that I love deeply, like with my entire being. And I at AX, I remember scolding Rafael for not liking Hell's Paradise. And after rewatching, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I could see why somebody is maybe not in on this. But yeah.
That is a great prompt to bring up what I wanted to mention a little bit better. Yeah, I noticed that Zom 100 didn't make Best Director, which for such a visually striking coordinated series seems strange. But then when you remember that, oh yeah, the last 2 episodes had to cook for a really long time. It definitely seems like the production issues in that show, affected it negatively. Also, I met the director of Hell's Paradise, not like at Anime Expo, not like for an interview or anything. I just ran into her at the end of a Mappa panel casually, and I was like, oh, you did a great job. Hi. Yeah.
It's gorgeous and it's good. I think I can see where it's going and the potential of what it has to seize, that I'm just kind of like, okay, it kind of sputters out those last 3 episodes.
That's kind of also my thoughts on Oshinoko, because I'm also caught up on Oshinoko, and I was like, in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, where did season 1 kind of end? I'm like, okay, yeah, it kind of picks up or finds like, because I know that we mentioned that it kind of plateaus. It like finds a little bit of new life in a like arc that comes after this. So I'm like, oh, maybe then it would kind of be that, but it was definitely like a strong start, I'd say, for like new series. And I guess on that same like merit, like I had not heard anything of Heavily Delusion. I just saw that Production IG was a part of it.
It was in Hulu jail.
It was in Hulu jail. Just like how, what was the one from last time? Summertime Rendering was in.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, why? Oh, I like this one. And it wasn't an update. I was like, oh, God. But like me not knowing anything about Heavily Delusion and then being like, having that week-to-week experience of being like, wow, there is a lot happening here. And every episode felt like there was a new reveal, and it just felt kind of exciting in a way that I hadn't been with like a sci-fi anime for like quite a while. So that one was a really strong start for me for like best new series. Also Boshi the Rock was surprising too, because I remember people being like, well, it's kind of like this anime or it's kind of like that anime, and it always like felt like derivative when people like initially were kind of pitching it like casually to each other. But like the fact that it was like, no, this person's got crippling social anxiety, and it's like the lengths to which we will go to depict this is gonna go down in like the history books. So it's like a lot of different flavors for like, you know, when it comes to like drama, sci-fi, or even like just light like shoujo, like slice of life kind of things that like make this feel like it's gonna come down to what are people's preferences. And I know that people tend to go shonen, so I'm like, oh no, I hope some series don't get robbed when it comes to just the feeling or like the freshness and newness that comes with it.
Apologies.
But doesn't this category make you wish that, doesn't the category itself make you wish like, man, if only like anime of the year could have this much variety to it?
Yes. I think the best new series lineup is probably one of the ones I'm more excited about, and feel like I can't say for sure who will come out of it. Chainsaw Man definitely feels like the fan favorite, right? But Like Isaiah said, Heavenly Delusion, that was an amazing show.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was the direction on that was just out of this world. The animation production quality was
The sound
gorgeous.
design was really good.
Yeah, and there's so much breadcrumbs throughout it, and it's rare that we get a sci-fi / like mystery story where you can go back and watch it and it's like, oh man, they had this from the very start and I didn't know, I didn't catch up on it. There's all these like things sprinkled out. There's even stuff they haven't overtly told us, but you can put together just within the first season itself. It's just a stellar show, and the Hulu jail thing definitely hurt it. There were also subtitle issues early on with some of the episodes too that just were frustrating. So I don't know if that'll really hurt.
Actually, why we didn't end up covering it, because the person we had set for it had issues with the subtitles in those premiere episodes, and it just, I think we ended up doing a season finale, but we didn't give it the week-to-week treatment that we probably should have.
Yeah.
This is where I say that I was lucky that I watched it on Disney Plus without any issue whatsoever.
Yeah, it may have been better for everyone internationally where they're not still splitting content up between Disney-owned Hulu and actually Disney Plus itself. I think they've started migrating to just Disney Plus now. You can find some stuff you wouldn't expect to associate with the Disney brand now on Disney Plus in America.
All right. And then we are heading into Best Film, which includes the Black Clover movie, Blue Giant, Kaguya-sama, Love is War, The First Kiss That Never Ends, Psycho-Pass Providence, Suzume, and The First Slam Dunk. And for as much as I think that The First Slam Dunk was robbed by not getting an Oscar nomination, Makoto Shinkai is just the anime movie man of the moment. So Suzume feels like it is a lock to win this one for me.
Blue Giant is the most angry I have been for something not getting award accolades in anything. That movie is a level of phenomenal to me that I don't think I have felt that emotional watching a movie as I have. Like, they have actual like renowned jazz performers doing the performances that they feature in the film. They use 3D rendering in a way that isn't weird, but actually like shows you when the characters start going into their flow state and start like feeling the jazz. And I think, like, for me, that film has animation, it has storytelling, it has emotion. It's essentially a sports anime when you break it down. And it captures the power of jazz in a very specific way. And it also crafts that onto the history of jazz in Japan in a really beautiful way. And I don't like, this should have gotten the Oscar nom. I know why it didn't, because nothing was going to go up against Boy and the Heron.
Yeah.
And Shinkai is the only one who technically can because of My Name. But I think Blue Giant blows everything in this category out of the water. And it's not even close.
One of the things about the
Oscar.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, it not only Blue Giant deserved an Oscar, no, it deserved like a longer theatrical release.
Yes.
Like what?
And in
that
more
was like
theaters.
What, 2 days or something?
Yeah, it was 2 days. It only played in 11 theaters, really, here in the US, I believe. I couldn't see it in Austin.
Yeah, I really, really liked Blue Giant in general. That's a Yuzuru Tachikawa. I was worried it was gonna be Tachibana and I was gonna mess that up. That's Yuzuru Tachikawa, Mob Psycho 100 director there. As Kate already said, like, it's Hiromi Uehara doing the music there. She's a phenomenal jazz performer. She has one of those little desk concerts on NPR you can go watch. She's just like very animated and really entertaining to watch perform. The music is amazing. We've got this great like trio. You've got the newbie drummer who's pushing to like catch up. You've got the pianist who's just amazing and has put in all the technical and put in all the technical work to, but he isn't playing with emotion the same way that the main character Dai is, who's sort of a prodigy, so to speak. He can just like feel jazz, right? Yeah. And it just taps into like all the Japan has a huge jazz history as well. It used to be number one or possibly maybe number two to America as far as like
Mhm.
fans of jazz music. So it's and that's slowly been dying out there. They don't have as many jazz cafes and whatnot. So it's just there's a lot happening that makes it a really interesting film. There's some really amazing animation sequences during the performances where things get
Yeah.
kind of like more color
The
and
finale
ethereal.
when you realize what Blue Giant means.
Yeah, and the whole time they're doing it through this like reflecting back documentary style. So you're like, this guy's already made it, but how did he do it? Is sort of the premise for it. I do think the 3D CG wasn't as great as maybe we, everything gets compared to Orange now, and this is
That's
Studio
fair.
Nut,
Yeah.
who isn't known as well for their CG, but they do have some great animation talent there. But yeah, that just sort of came and went with very little fanfare. We did an interview with Tachikawa that I don't know if anyone read it, but I liked talking to him about it. So compared to some of these other films on here, which I almost feel like we can put like parentheses on film too. Like I feel like the only animated movies actually on this list are Blue Giant, The First Slam Dunk, Suzume, and I can't comment on Black Clover because I haven't seen it, but that one might be like a true film. Actually, maybe I'm just picking on Kaguya-sama now that I look at it.
I am. I'm just picking. As a Kaguya stan, I can say it does feel like from a fan standpoint, like people will be like, no, this is the best thing because it like culminates this long like will they won't they like relationship story really well. It also just feels like another arc in the sense that like movies kind of have this sense of like it's its own kind of thing or it's its own like kind of canon. This feels like no, this is like the progression of like the next season thing just put into a movie. So
it felt like 3 episodes stuck together to me. It very much did, and we see that happening a little more again with these like Demon Slayer red carpets and stuff. And even Mugen Train felt that way to me, which obviously people went and saw it. It did gangbusters at the theater, but it still felt like 3 episodes stuck together. It didn't have the sort of composition that I expect when I go to see a movie, and that makes me mad. So
I have a hot take in that if Suzume wasn't directed by Shinkai, I don't think it would be seen as highly as it is. I gave it like a near perfect score, or like when I watched it, I was like, oh yeah, this is great. But everything else that came out subsequently in 2023 was just far better. And like I include the first Slam Dunk there because I'm not like a Slam Dunk person. I saw stills and I was like, this animation is dumb. I don't want to watch this. But then I watched it in the crowd at AX.
We watched in the best setting possible.
Yeah, we had the best setting, and then I rewatched it again and I was like, no, actually like this animation does make sense for what it is doing and for how it is bringing basketball to life. And also like it's a debut feature film by the man who made the manga. Like you can't
my goat.
I'll stop talking, but like I think I don't hate Suzume. I like Suzume a lot. I think watching everything else has made me not love Suzume the way I did when it first came out. But yeah.
Is Suzume really special?
It's not
like okay, like I'm gonna kind of echo like what Kate says here. Like I think she's right in that we get a lot of anime feature films that are teenage love stories. You got like words bubble up like soda pop, and you've got actually the latest Mario Kata one's really freaking weird, so I won't throw that one in there. But there's a lot of just these sort of pleasant ride your wave by Yuasa. The premise isn't really
anime sad girl falls in love with boy, things happen.
Supernatural weird things happen.
I think a lot of the credit to Suzume goes to, and this is valid, and I should also maybe shut up because actually I haven't watched it, but I think a lot of the credit of it goes to is that it is sort of this film that's helping process the 3/11 earthquake, and which again, until I see the film, I can't like really comment on that aspect of it, but beyond like that core point and what it's doing there, I don't know. I'm just bored of Shinkai. Let someone else have a turn.
Yeah, I'll go one step further. I think like that movie, especially because I saw it at the premiere outside of Japan in Berlin, and that was like a week after the earthquake in Turkey and Syria happened. That helped that movie a lot as well. That like there was the whole like context to it, and as you're saying, like Shinkai did more work for that movie than the movie did. Like he's talking about the movie and what it meant, and how he like processes grief and everything through the movie, did more to make that resonate with people, I think, that the movie itself. And it also helped that got the biggest theatrical release of every other movie in this list.
Yeah.
So a lot of the voting goes because of that.
Yeah, Lynzee, as you pointed out, this is very clearly touching upon a very tender cultural moment. And I'm not a part of that culture. So in a lot of ways, this is one of those, this movie isn't for me kind of movies, if that makes sense.
I watched this movie like at a really, I guess, like vulnerable time. Because I lost like I've lost a lot of people in my life since 2020. I think the count is up to 10 now. Back to back to back to back. Like my 27-year-old cousin passed away last year. So all of that is to say, like, this isn't a sad Kate moment. It is that watching that film, and I think that immediately I was able to capture just like the thoughts of grief as being this erupting force that you kind of can't really get around, you have to move through, really got me. But then when I sat down to kind of like think about it deeper and try to like write something on it and try to like put like the emotional feeling I had into words for anybody else that I was talking to like make it real, I had a really hard time doing that because it was something that was more amorphous and personal, and myself laying something onto the movie. And I don't want to say laying something on because it is very clearly about 3/11, and it is very clearly about a cultural processing of grief and disaster. But I think going into it as a viewer, because I had that lens, I felt that it spoke to me. But the farther away from it that I got, the more I was able to see that it really is about what you're bringing into those moments and what you're mapping onto those doors, that I think kind of gives the movie weight, when technically, I think from a technical and narrative standpoint, I don't think it is always hitting that high a bar. If I don't know if any of that makes sense, like at all, but
no, it
also
absolutely
doesn't help
does.
that I think out of the big two that we've been talking about, Blue Giant, Slam Dunk, and Suzume, like Suzume is the one that we like visually we've seen this. Like it's not doing anything particularly
Lynzee was
new,
right, yeah.
compared to like Blue Giant and Slam Dunk. So that also, but again, more people saw it, and it's available on a widely available platform. So
you know what? I'll be the one to bring it up. Because this is a very anime thing that I think we've all just gotten used to. There's a teenager dating an adult. There's a teenager who really wants to date an adult in Suzume, and that's anime, definitely. And maybe I'm projecting like specifically American bias on this one, but also that deserves to be said at some point.
My husband's 5 years older than me, so I tend to not.
he turns into a chair.
Yeah, and he turns into a chair. Like I
negates his age.
I'm not unless it is egregious. Like, and he's a chair. He's a chair. Like she is kissing a chair. It doesn't bother me most of the time, and I think when I think it's really hard for me sometimes because I think there are cases where it is clearly something that is predatory and not good, and that happens in anime a lot. But then sometimes I think that we map those bad experiences onto ones that I don't think necessarily warrant that type of viewing, I think. Yeah. I don't think you're wrong. I think that like there's just a space to navigate. Like, age gap doesn't necessarily mean something is horrible and offensive.
No, completely understandable. Just now more than ever, I think people are squeamish. People are aware of that. So it deserves to be said. On some capacity.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there.
All right, now I am excited for this discourse most of all. Best original anime. Akiba Made War, Birdie Wing Season 2, Buddy Daddies, Do It Yourself, Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury, The Marginal Service. One of these things is not like the other, is what I'm going to say first and foremost. But,
how did it get there? Who put it there? Who watched it? I've checked Mal. I've checked like the ratings on ANN. I don't know who watched it. Who watched Marginal Service? Anybody here?
No.
I gave it one episode. It does some weird cop stuff out of the gate, so I noped out of it. But I mean, outside of that one, and I guess I can't speak to Do It Yourself. Like, this is probably the most contentious category of anything we've talked about so far.
It's like part of me in my head, I'm like, as an extension of the Gundam universe, do you count as an original story?
It's an
Yeah,
AU.
this original
It's an
screenplay.
AU.
They said that the screenplay again.
I guess.
I don't understand why it's here and not Anime of the Year or Best
Yes.
Continuing Series.
Mhm.
Like, that is my
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I thought it was really strange. It was kind of relegated to Best Original Anime, and maybe I think there's a character over in Must Protect at All Costs, but
Yeah.
otherwise, Witch from Mercury is kind of not here,
Yeah.
which is weird. And it's
real
for
weird.
the entire series.
Mhm.
It's not just the first cour or second. So what happened? I watched this series week to week. I took notes. I
Mhm.
did research so I could understand the political hierarchy. I was in
I
it.
bought every single model kit and nothing happened.
So I thought it was really strange. It only ended up in so few categories compared to some of the like shonen shows that we've talked about, which are in like 12
Yeah.
or more
Yeah.
categories. And like, can we do Soletta a solid and get her a couple more in here? Yeah.
Anti-mecha propaganda rearing its head yet again.
It
There
is
you go.
It is weird how the mecha genre, mecha fans, very much it feels like the backbone of the broader anime community, anime industry. But then, like, yeah, a general awards competition like this, it appears as infrequently as it did. I don't
It's
know.
strange because it's an entry level series too. It's
Yeah.
like you don't need to know anything about UC. If you don't know
Yep.
who Char is, you're fine. Like there's no like gates you got to jump over to understand what's going on. You know, same with Iron Blooded Orphans, right? It's and it was really, really popular. It's not, I wouldn't consider the Gundam show a dark horse by any means, but it's not really represented a whole lot in the voting lineup.
We
Mm.
dedicated a day to it. We gave it a day.
We gave it, yeah, social media gave it a day and more fan art than we'd seen in a long time.
Mm.
So
We
I
gave it a
don't-
day over Demon Slayer.
We did.
Yeah.
That is funny how that happens. Like,
And yeah, for as much as we just talked about Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury, I think Akiba Made War's gonna win this one.
people slept on that one. That
You
one
think
They
so?
did, and they
Okay.
were wrong to do
Ugh.
it.
That one had me laughing so hard because I'm like, this is just a Yakuza side quest made into an anime.
I loved Akiba.
I did.
so much. I actually, other than the marginal service, I love this category
Mhm.
so much because it's so different and
Yeah.
so weird and like
Yeah.
that's good. Like I think this is like the best. If you had to be like, hey Kate, like what are the genres of anime? I would just like show this category.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I think the other thing that I do want to point out is it feels weird. I think the reason why Gundam feels weird is because it is a powerhouse of an IP. But if you notice, we have a sports anime in here, but it's a sports anime centered on girls. We have
Mhm.
Akiba Made War. We have Buddy Daddies, whose target audience was mostly women. We have Do It Yourself, which is women or girls again. And I think that that is the factor between just dumping them in Best Original Anime is it's once again anime fans denying the fact that there is good stuff to be had from things directed at girls and women. And I think that that's frustrating, especially Gundam, because women built the Gundam franchise and the creator has said that over and over and over again. But I think that like looking at this, despite the strengths of all of them, I think that that is the connecting factor as to why they are all just here.
No, I agree with that. I
Marginal
mean,
service? I mean, I don't.
there are shirtless guys in Marginal Service. So
True,
maybe
there we
that's
go.
why it's there too. Yeah. So yeah, it is really a strange lineup. I think maybe we don't get a ton of originals compared to adaptations, so it is like a
That's fair.
slimmer, it is, slimmer pickings, but I do agree that at least you could maybe make a trending or pull out a trend from if most original works are kind of going towards the female
Yeah.
demographic compared to adaptive works.
Yeah, that's fair.
Although I think a lot of dudes liked Birdie Wing, to be fair.
Oh, I think dudes did really like Birdie Wing.
Yeah.
I think this is the Mother's Basement quote. He had pointed out in a video a while back that actually original anime is, for as kind of thin a slice of the pie as it often is, that's what people point to most often as like the best of anime, whether that's Cowboy Bebop, Evangelion, and then looking through 2023's best original anime, on average, I am bigger on all of these series than I think any category we've talked about so far. And I think that
having to pick between Buddy Daddies and Akiba Maid Wars and Gundam is a crime.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
It was hard.
Truly is.
Yeah.
I think, when I was going around voting, I was like, I'm gonna skip this category because I really have to think on this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. I don't.
All of these are gay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of these are gay. I just
Yes, all
remembered,
of these
like,
are very gay.
yeah, do it yourself as well. Like,
Yes.
it's, very clumsy girlfriend who doesn't know how to use a screwdriver, and highly competent
Exactly.
3D printer girlfriend who, is kind of tsundere but loves her. I don't know if marginal service is gay because I don't know what it is.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe, or it likes to present as a lot.
There's this. I just like that Lynzee just pointed out that this is really just the best gay anime award
Yeah. Yeah.
for 2023.
Yes. Yeah.
Make that a category
Like,
next year.
A little like rainbow light bulb just lit up and was like, wait,
It's like,
all of
and
this
they
is
were
gay.
roommates, the category.
Okay, so we are getting a little closer to some hard outs. I don't think we're gonna get to every category. Is there anyone that people really wanted to get into? We're about to get into some of the more technical stuff and then the genre stuff.
I know that I won't have much to say in the voice acting categories.
Okay.
I tend to just watch subtitled, so I can't weigh in on that.
Fair.
I think the only thing that I actually do, I have one thing to say about the voice acting category, in that I think that it is just good to have it here, because I know for a lot of people, it's like an English voice actor may be the only person they ever hear voice this character, and that's what they're committed to. Like, I will never watch Cowboy Bebop in Japanese, and I will never watch Dragon Ball Z or any of the Dragon Ball series in Japanese, because that it's not what that core memory was created with. So I think it's good that there is recognition for both the Japanese voice actors and the English voice actors, because I think both of them are creating something very special for whoever's watching. I think one of the things that gets a little bit thorny for me, and I know this is a US based like award, like that's primarily the audiences, but with the number of dubbing, like the high number of dubbed languages that Crunchyroll promotes in, and the amount of like viewership you have in Latin America, I think it'd be really cool to see that actually expand to Spanish.
Oh, they have.
There is, actually.
They have
Wait,
Spanish.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, they announced for like almost all of their languages.
Oh, no. I
they
meant
have-
like, is there a category for it?
Yeah.
We could only vote on English though, because it's
I
region
didn't
locked.
know that.
Yeah, it's region locked.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't remember.
that's
Yeah.
what it is.
What is
Okay.
there? Yeah.
Okay. I had no idea.
They
Then
have like
strike
French,
all of that.
Spanish, Arabic,
I
German.
had no idea
Italian,
that it was
Portuguese, yeah.
region locked. That's
Mhm.
also really cool then.
Yeah.
Kudos.
My only hot take for best English voice performance. Hey, Marissa Duran, I talk to her sometimes about college football on social media. I think that should be weighed into people's decision making. I don't know. Yeah. All right.
I do wanna ask people about best main character, actually.
Ooh.
Yeah, we should definitely
That
do like
is-
characters.
Yeah, I think the character ones would be really good to talk about.
Best
And
main
then-
character. We got Denji, Eren, Hitori Goto, Monkey D. Luffy, Mob, and Thorfinn.
So remember what I said earlier about Aaron stands?
Yeah, that's gonna be a presence in this voting.
Jaegerists are gonna say stop the cow.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, remember the year that there was best hero and best villain, and Eren
Yes.
was nominated for both.
I was like,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
kind of funny that he
Oh,
was
good.
I will say
That's
that.
very funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see a split vote between Eren and anime's new best boy Mob happening in this category.
I feel like Mob Psycho season 3 did not do
Yeah.
as well as the previous 2 seasons at
didn't.
all.
Hmm.
I think this is a toss up between probably Denji and Thorfinn for us in the back who are all about the
Yeah.
farming arc.
Mm.
If Aaron wins, I mean, I won't be surprised, but I'll be deeply saddened.
Yes.
I'll take time off work. That happens. So
I think Denji has been the character that I routinely have to, or that I routinely like just protect and defend, because I think people who haven't read or watched Chainsaw Man all the way through, they're like, he just wants to touch a boob. I was like, yeah, that, like, literally this man has such a sad life that a boob touch is a like climactic dream for him. Like that is
His-
what he thinks will be everything.
His
And I
hierarchy
actually
of needs are abysmal
Exactly.
right now.
Exactly. He wants to eat non-moldy bread, take a bath, and like get a job and touch a boob. Like I feel like that is one, highly relatable, but also like I think that there is a pureness to Denji that is explored through something that we usually associate as like a lecherous trope, but you see it kind of stripped away into the base of just a teenage boy. Like that is just what it is. And I think for me, like that's what makes Denji, as simple as he is, more complex, because it speaks to a larger arc of the character, realizing that physical touch, one, is not all it's cracked up to be, and two, is not the only thing you should be aspiring to, and learning and growing. So my best boy Denji, I think, but I do agree that I can see the Aaron stance just coming in droves, and it will be sad.
I think there's a big gap between a Denji and like a Mineta from My Hero
Yes,
Academia, right?
exactly.
And it's a very important.
It's a cavern.
gap.
It's a cavern.
Yeah. Denji is completely, I find him completely inoffensive in his sexual
Yes.
interest compared
Yes.
to a lot of other shows where you watch and it's got some horny guy in it with like boundary issues and stuff
Denji
like that.
asks.
He
He
does.
always asks.
And he's also like, he's also had opportunities and was like, I don't think
I don't think
like
this is right. Like
no,
this.
yeah, I think I gotta go, so
There's a fantastic moment fairly recently in the manga where Denji is just exhausted at the realization that, oh wow, this is another adult woman trying to sexually
Why does this
exploit
keep
me
happening to
for her
me?
own benefit. What is going on? Am I
Yeah.
putting this vibe out there? It was great. Yeah. I don't know what. Do we want to talk about best anime song at all? Anyone have opinions on that?
isn't it just gonna be Yaosobi's
Yep.
Idol
Yeah,
from
it feels like that's a
Oshinoko?
lot.
Yeah.
That's gotta just run away with it.
Yeah,
Right?
I don't know if anybody saw the Mama performance, but like literally, like every Korean idol got up on a stage and did the dance to the song, and
wow.
like it was with Yoso, like it was. And I say Korean idols just because like I'm very big in the K-pop space, and all of my favorite people were up there doing dances, but it was literally like almost everybody from a Mama category was just up there dancing during the performance. Like I think that is a level of cultural impact that I don't think anything else really reaches.
Yeah.
It even touched my circles where Atarashi Gakko like showed up
Yes.
to do
The dance. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. And Idol is probably also going to run away with best opening sequence.
Mhm.
That one I would like to see more of a fight with that
Yeah.
one, because I feel like that's supposed to take into consideration the animation that is accompanying the song more than just the
Mhm.
song itself. Zom 100's opening is really
Yeah.
good.
It's real good.
Heavenly Delusion's opening is really good. Kickback's opening with all of its like movie references that had
It's
people
so
like
good.
Yeah.
searching them out on the internet,
That
really
made the
good.
news. Kickback made the regular news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Kickback, I think it's a toss up for me for Kickback and where our blue is, just because I'm that person. For opening sequence, but I agree that like it's based on like everything that comes into it.
Mhm.
I also wish I could just nominate every single Chainsaw Man ending that was perfectly
I was about to
curated to the
say.
episode that preceded it.
Yeah.
That felt
Like-
like a sweep for them, because like you have like 12 like
Yeah.
I will say for the ending sequences, 200 million centimeter long blades, that is the only one canonized in the manga by
Yeah.
Maximum the Hormone being in there as a lark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of that,
Mephisto is also really good.
Mephisto, that
Um,
is the one I would give. Yeah,
Yes.
Mephisto is very good.
It's hard for me to pick a favorite Chainsaw Man ending, and I don't have the titles of the songs like off the top of my head, but I think my favorite one is the one that had all the horses in it.
oh yeah,
Weird- all the weird horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
I think that's like the best opening or ending is like it like where everything connects. It has to be perfect weirdness, perfect song, references, and then also just being completely disparate like animation from what is being said in the words.
Yeah.
And that is perfection when you hit all of those.
Actually, you know what? This is probably a good one to talk about with this crowd to close. Anyone have any picks, any insights for the best director category?
Pulling it up.
I think going between Ryu Nakayama
Yes.
and honestly, like I know that Shota's gonna get it for Jujutsu Kaisen season 2. I think it should be Hirotaka Mori for Heavily the Delusion. I think Ryu and Hirotaka are like the two for me that I think really are able to capture like direction in a very holistic standpoint.
Mm.
And I think they really showcase, and I think Ryu more so, or Nakayama more so than anything, is just the ability to bridge live action cinema and animation in a way that doesn't devalue the animated medium, which I think is very hard to do. Because we've
It's
seen a lot
between
of
Mori and Nakayama for me too. Like
Yeah.
it's a strong competition between the two. I lean a little bit more towards Nakayama, but it's like it's by a hair, and some
yeah.
of that is also out of like solidarity for the bullshit he put up with
Oh yeah.
because of his direction of the show. That's probably not why you give people awards, but it does make me like root for him just a little bit more.
Actually, probably the most beneficial to Nakayama if he wins. I believe I read he's starting his own studio now.
Yes.
He's doing
Mm.
okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. Mom's bleeding talent. So yeah,
Yep.
Nakayama's at his own studio, and so is Sungwoo Park. They've all
Yep.
both left.
And I'll be the first to say, as somebody who, and I'm not signing any kind of petition, I'm not signing a change.org thing, but as someone who did have frustrations with the Chainsaw Man adaptation, I don't think that can be laid at Nakayama's feet. All of the changes that I found frustrating, I think, are more top level than that. Yeah. But
Did you write that piece for me, Lucas? Was that you?
I would have
Someone wrote
written that.
No, maybe that was someone else. We did publish a thing from a point of view of people who were not happy with the direction, and you bringing that up was like, wait, did Lucas write that? Never mind.
No, it sounds like something I would say, but and like this is one of those controversies. I can't express this. I can't get on anyone's side because now people have made it weird and more politicized than it should be. Okay, I go for it.
No, I was just gonna say I think the reason Nakayama for me is solid is because it wasn't the large spectacle scenes that got me or sequences that got me. It was the smaller moments where he makes
Coffee.
Aki.
Mhm.
Yeah, coffee, but like very specifically, he makes the characters small. Like that scene where Aki is in the hospital bed and it's just panned out and he is like, that is an understanding of visuals, not just in trying to like show a thing, but trying to like make you feel a thing.
Nakayama made smoking really sad and depressing again.
Yes,
And emotional.
yes.
I think also a thing to keep in mind is that Chainsaw Man as a manga is really engaged in that medium, really playing to the benefits of that space.
Yeah.
In a way that makes it really difficult to translate. And it was never going to be translated perfectly. And the fact that the anime does such a great job with it was going to be hard. It was going to be hard for anyone to bring the Chainsaw Man manga to the anime format. And yeah, Nakayama sure did do a great stab at it. Okay. I think
Do we have time to talk about best romance, or are we hard on time?
Ooh.
I'm seeing some nods in here.
Because that's also got a really big variety similar to best original in that it's, where all of those got to go instead of anywhere else.
So best romance, Horiyama the Missing Pieces, My Happy Marriage, Skippin' Loafer, Insomniacs After School, My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999, and Tomo-chan is a Girl.
I love all these series so much.
This one was hard.
Yeah.
They deserve so much more love than just being put into the love category.
Yeah, because like Skip and Loafer's kind of not really a romance at this point in it either.
Yeah.
It gave me more slice of life vibes, but
I'm about to be a hater. I bounced off of Tomo-chan as a Girl. I found a lot of the
liked it.
I loved it.
The jokes got to be they played in a little much of a like gender assumptions space for me that I get it. I get why it's appealing. I bounced off it, and that's a me thing.
Yeah. I was a tomboy growing up who consistently got like thought of as something that or as a gender that I wasn't, and that just hit me. So because it was very hard to have crushes on, like it was very hard, and I think that as cute and funny as it is, I actually think some of the ways that it handles those assumptions and how you deal with the weight others put on you and you just like want to be yourself was really, really good. But I also have the manga that I love deeply, so that also colors that.
I will also say My Happy Marriage is probably the most talked about anime that I have not watched from this past year.
It's real good.
It was a hurdle for me at first because I have a low tolerance for like meekness in a character. This is purely a me thing. It's not like there's anything wrong with that archetype or, having stories about that. It's just that I'm kind of aggro by nature. So I'm like, just do the thing. And they can't. So that one was a little rough for me. It's also got some pretty strong depictions of like familial abuse in it that can be hard to stomach early on, but it really is about a girl coming into her own and like finding her own like value in herself and her ability to like stand up for herself and realize that she has a right to happiness. And I mean, her fiance is also really cute, and he is kind of stereotypical perfect husband material, but it's so it's kind of comforting in that way, right? Like it's not the sort of josei story about getting betrothed to the guy who's secretly soft inside but is actually mean and abusive sort of stuff. This isn't like a hot gimmick or anything like that. He is very like, what can I do to help you? Let me bring my sister and have her come over so that you can have like a female friend to like bounce ideas off of and help you solve your issues because I can't fix everything for you. It's just it's good, and there's magic. for reasons.
Well, my love story with Yamada-kun at level 99 has Gamers in it. Gamers in Love by Madhouse studio behind Nana.
Yes.
I forget Madhouse plays as equally in the shoujo space as they do in the shonen space.
Mhm.
This is a josei though, right?
I think Yamada-kun is shoujo. I don't know how intense it gets.
In the manga, it's real intense.
Ooh,
They do
okay.
it. They do the deed.
I didn't know that.
I mean, do we have to go with Yamada-kun level 99? If this is the romance, and if they do like, all right, romance all the way, maybe by nature of the category.
I heard Horimiya and the Missing Pieces is not great. Mostly, I mean, I haven't watched it. I watched the first season and liked it, but people have described it to me as these people are definitely getting divorced in the future. Like this is not their forever relationship. She's a hot mess. It does play in the kink space though, too, right?
I appreciated that from the first season.
Yeah, I love Horimiya. I think the issue with the Missing Pieces is I do love the Missing Pieces, but I think the thing that is like most, because it's not Horimiya proper and just the Missing Pieces, like this is the stuff they cut out from the adaptation mostly, and that is what makes it like the weakest of everything else.
I wonder if you could do an episode rearrangement and it would be better.
Yeah, like if you worked this into how you were watching the first series, that is a better understanding of the series.
That'd be a
fun that's why I skipped it, because I love Horimiya, but I was like, I'm not gonna watch scenes from in between episodes that I barely remember now.
Yeah.
Who needs side stories?
Also talking about Horimiya, just with the way that first season ends. Don't get married when you're 18. Hey, you know what? Worse for some people, fantastic for y'all. General advice: don't get married when you're 18.
Someone
or
said
20.
Macaroni and cheese is my favorite food, and I will never change my mind.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I like the hot dogs cut up and put in it though.
Oh man, high school was crazy. Time to settle down.
This is it forever.
All right, we are really coming up against those hard outs now. So, do we want to do a round? Everyone's ats, everyone's socials, anything people can keep an eye out for, and then I'm Lucas DeRuyter at Lucas DeRuyter on Twitter. Don't follow me on Twitter though. Go to Blue Sky where I am Lucas DeRuyter. Wrote about the novels, the light novels that inspired the Persona games over at IGN recently. Go check that out. Yeah, and more in the works, plugging away. Freelance capacity right now. Isaiah, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Isaiah, ShinEyezehUhh. I made sure it was really hard to find me on social media. There's a link tree in there for everything else to make that a little bit easier for your first hurdle there. I guess I'm currently freelancing. I've got some stuff in the works. You can mostly find me over at IGN or over at Anime News Network.
Rafael, where are you at?
Also on Twitter, I don't know why, but I'm still there at Rafael Motamayor, and I write, but also doing the freelance thing, run for whoever. I got some stuff in the works that I don't know when they're coming up, but they're coming up eventually. Now, share it.
Lynzee.
Hi, you can find, I mean, my Twitter exists. I try not to post there because it's a hellscape, at ANN_Lynzee, LYNZEE. But you can find me over on Blue Sky, same at, except they don't let you use underscores there. I was really mad about that too. So it's just ANN Lynzee. I'm also on a podcast every week called the ANN After Show. Right now we are talking about solo leveling, whether we would eat the food on Delicious in Dungeon, and recently Bravern, which you guys should all be watching. Bang Brave Bravern. It's great. But yeah, I mostly find me at Anime News Network, where I'm contractually obligated to put everything I write.
And Kate, bring us home.
You can find me at My Myth Randier on literally everything. I secured handles. I don't go on to Blue Sky. There was like only annoying people over there when it first
Oh,
started.
no.
Like me.
No, not now. It's opened up now, but it just I needed some more melanin to get on the platform before before I started investing time in it. But I'm gonna start posting more there. I am on the Hellscape. I will stay on it until I can no longer go there and I eventually get banned. Just because that's where all the people who follow me are. Also on Instagram, and you can find all my writing at butwhythough.net. I am currently reviewing Cherry Magic, which is an anime I have waited so long for. It feels like forever. There are 2 feature film movies in 2 different languages, and I just now got the anime. And then The Witch and the Beast and Buchigiri are my 3 that I'm doing episodically, and then I do a lot of, I guess technically they're called character guides on stuff that I really love. It was an excuse to write about why Geto and Gojo are boyfriends, and I did that in both of their character guides, so you can go read that.
Kate, I gotta introduce you to my friend Jenny, admin of the Cherry Magic Wiki. Y'all get on, and thank you for reminding me. I think I have an interview going up on But Why Though this month.
Yes,
maybe. Hopefully, go to But Why Though. Go to all the websites we mentioned, and hey, thank you to Crunchyroll for making us judges, for doing this anime award show, for giving us an excuse to talk about a lot of great, weird, interesting anime. Thank you all for listening to this, and have a great day.
Bye.
bye.